So you guys are either make up a story about Supreme, say, well, Supreme told me about some murder or some drugs or some money laundering or whatever, walk away with nothing, walk away with no jail time, just some probation. You know, you guys aren't criminals, so probation is not a big deal.
The whole thing turned out to, so if you go back again, they used to come to the house and say, and tell me, you know, if you don't tell us about Supreme, you're going to be right next to him.
Why did they want Supreme so badly?
You would have to ask them. I think, in my opinion, I just feel like in that era, he's the one that they feel got away.
Someone had it out for him.
I believe so.
Okay.
It's the only reason I could even think about it. Just think he did end up making that movie, Crime Partners. Mm-hmm. So he pre-made a movie. We did contribute money to. Mm-hmm. Jay-Z did contribute money to. Dame Dash did. DMX. Ice-T. You understand? Like, it wasn't just Murder Inc. that put money into this project, but they made it like we was the one funding Supreme. And it's like, we all did. Universal cut him a check for $500,000. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, $500,000 they cut him. We didn't cut that much money to him. Yeah. So it's like, why are you saying we did? That's why Universal had to cooperate, because they paid Supreme, and they're like, that money was for this, that, and we're going to come after you. Okay. And that's how they tied it all up. But the reality is they paid him $500,000 because he had a soundtrack with Jay-Z, Ja Rule, DMX, and all these other artists. Why wouldn't you pay for it? Yeah. It's a hell of a project.
Sure.
So all we did was tell Lyor, you should sign it. You should sign it because he's going to take it to Sony or somewhere else, and these are all Def Jam artists. Yeah. Protect them. And he agreed and went and cut the deal. No one ever wants to talk about the truth. Like, that's so relevant to what went on. It's like, but no one wants to talk about it. Like, but Lyor, you cut that check. No one twisted your arm. Yes, we told you to do it, but it was the right business move to do, and you should just say he was.
I mean, were you upset with Universal at that point with all the money you guys made for Universal Records?
In the beginning, you didn't realize. I'm just telling you, like, you're in this storm, this perfect storm, and you don't know what's going on, and then you got your partner basically no longer being your partner, but you're not thinking it's for any other reasons but legitimate. But then enough time goes by and you'll get a little bit pissed off.
Right. I
bet. Know, they made, the deals they made us sign while we're on trial it's just unethical. It's something you wouldn't do to your worst friend, and they did it to us thinking it's cool, and it's not cool. Yeah. They made us sign off everything. If we would have went to jail, they would have owned everything.
Oh, wow.
If we didn't go to jail, we retained everything. But they made us put it on knowing 98%.
Yeah.
I'll take that chance all day.
All day. You guys go to trial, and it's a jury trial.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where I saw it, but it was one of the jurors walked out after the verdict and said, "This whole trial is bullshit. This whole Fed case is just bullshit." You know what I'm talking about? It's like a woman with glasses or something. Yeah. And I remember a picture of, like, was it like you guys are celebrating and, like, was it Irv's feet are up in the air and he's got his arm around you and his lawyer or something else like that?
That day is scarred in your brain. You can't forget it. It was an amazing time, but it's like, again, after we won, if you look at any of the pictures or video footage with me, I wasn't going crazy. It was really, I'm just sitting there like, man, they really took 4 years of my life. Yeah. And thank God it came out the right way. Thank God, yes, thank God. But it's like, man.
So the jury found you not guilty.
Yes.
And, for those that don't know, that means that every jury member had to
yes.
agree on the same conclusion. If one jury member said, "I think them guys are guilty," then what's a hung jury, or is just they have to keep deliberating, right?
That's right.
Okay. And how long did they deliberate before they found you not guilty?
Man, 4 days.
Okay, so
4
how
days.
long was the whole trial?
2 months.
Ooh, wow. 2 months. With, I'm sure, a mountain of evidence against you and this and that.
What's crazy is, sorry, 2 weeks
2 weeks.
Sorry.
Okay.
Everything, the process was a 2-month process. So really the trial, 2 months is the motion hearings, which is before you get to the jury and all that, picking the jury. Or it was a 2-month time. Yeah. Once we started with the jury there in front of the judge, bringing up witnesses, not us, the prosecuting team, it was about a 2-week time.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
2 weeks and then 4 days for the deliberation. Big deal because the deliberation ends on a Friday. So we didn't want to go on another weekend because then now they get to read press, media, things of that nature. Anything could happen over the weekend. We want it while it's fresh in their heads. It wasn't like they're sequestered where they had to sit in a room 24/7. No, they go home. Yeah. So every time they go home, they get to read headlines and things of that nature. So it was a big deal. And here it is Friday. We're looking at the clock, and it's like 4:50. 5 o'clock, it's over. Yeah. 4:51. We're like, oh, please. Right at like 4:58, that knock on that door. That's the jurors coming back out. Woo! Oh, man, what a rush.
Jury came out and said, we, the jury, find the defendants not guilty on all counts. Yeah. And it was what, 2 counts?
Just 2 counts.
2 counts.
Just 2 counts. Well, so the process of that whole jury, again, I learned so much with the judicial system. Yeah. They send out notes. So while they're deliberating, they send you a note about the law if they don't understand the law. Mm-hmm. So one of the notes they sent out that had me worried was to tell them what would constitute conspiracy to money launder. So our lawyers have to define it and send it back in written form to the jurors so they can read it to all of the jurors in there. And all I knew is if you're guilty, the first count was money laundering, the second count is conspiracy. So it goes in that order, in sequence. So if you found me not guilty for money laundering, you could still find me guilty to conspiracy to money laundering.
You tried to money launder, but you didn't.
Right.
Right.
Which I thought was the worst thing. And when they asked that question, I was like, what the hell? It's like, that means they already passed money laundering. If I was found guilty of money laundering, I had to conspire to do it. Yeah. It's a natural fit. Yeah. So I said, we got to be not guilty already for that. Okay. Right? When that note came out, I was like, we're halfway through. But this note made it nervous because it's like anything. We're conspiring right now. It's like that language in the judicial system is very loose, to say it's very open. Like everything conspiracy is so easy to conspire.
Right. Like we could be in this room together, and I could tell you that I'm going to go kill somebody. And now you could get tied into a conspiracy. Yeah. Yeah. If you go and tell me and you have another person that said, yeah, they was talking about it. That's it. Yeah, and you didn't go to the police to report me, you're now a conspirator. Yeah. And it's really crazy the way that language is. So. Okay. Was Supreme at all in the trial? No. No, not at all. Mm. Okay. So you guys are found not guilty. Yeah. You win. But you guys are still kicked out of Universal. You guys have spent $100 million on legal fees, which you're not getting back, because you can't sue the government to try to get some money back, or it doesn't work that way, does it? I didn't try it. No. Nor do I want to. I'm like, I'm blessed. Thank God everything worked out the way it did, and because I'm pretty sure. Mind you, most people in jail might be guilty, but there are people that are innocent. Absolutely. And it's a travesty to go and spend a day for something you didn't do. But at this point, the momentum of Murder Inc. is just not what it was anymore. Exactly. I mean, essentially, did the label essentially shut down after that, more or less? No, we have the birth. We have Lloyd. But Lloyd never got to the heights of a Ja Rule. Has a #1 record. Lloyd and Lil Wayne, right off the heels of the win. Okay.
It's called. We get a re-up with Universal. And we get this #1 record.
Are you guys back at the Universal building again or no?
We once we got thrown out the building, we never went back.
Never wanted to go back.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't. We could go places that they don't want us. We don't need to keep going to places they don't want us.
Yeah.
We go to somewhere else. So at the end of the day, we have Lloyd, #1 record. With Lil Wayne, album coming out, make his album. Everything's all lined up, and we line up all his marketing and press. And all we need is the #1 album in the country. Murder Inc.'s back. Mm-hmm. Music Soul Child doesn't even have a top 10 record. Beats us out. I wonder why.
What do you mean?
It's just Lyor was no longer with us. We was with Sylvia Rome, and it's all in the
Sylvia
Universal
Rome,
system.
she ended up at Motown. What was she?
She was Motown, and that's what we did a deal with through Universal Motown.
Okay.
And Sylvia was with us, and basically Lyor pulled some strings to make sure we didn't get a #1 record. That Music Soul Child beat us out. You can't figure it out. This is like Universal inside stuff. But again, when you go through it, it's like, how did he do it? He was calling Irv to let him know, you're not going to get the #1, but being his sarcastic Lyor self. You know, and then you have Irv calling Doug, telling him,
Doug Morris was the president of Universal.
Protect us, trust Sylvia, she's going to do it. We have the record was getting hundreds of millions in audience. It's just, at the time, those metrics that you get, those numbers, you don't miss. We had 10 times more audience than Music Soul Child.
Right, because I don't remember that even being a very big artist.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's like, and I love Music Soul Child. Cool, yeah. He's cool.
It's a great artist, but yeah.
It's Music Soul Child. Let's keep it all in perspective.
Yeah.
And again, we had a huge #1 record in the country, not in the R&B space. Mm-hmm. Big difference.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of audience versus far less, and we couldn't get a #1 album out of it. Someone didn't do their job. And that was when we realized we couldn't do it anymore. That was when Irv had a meeting, calls everyone in, and basically was like, our partner is not our partner, and we can't win over here.
I'm a fan of Drake. I'm a fan of the idea of Drake, so no disrespect against Drake.
What do you mean by the idea of Drake? What does that mean?
Meaning that if he has a ghostwriter, he's an idea. He's not, meaning that it's a perception created that he's not really writing the lyrics, and it's just like here, let's make this in the factory and put it out.
I'm just on top of my game right now, Vlad, and I'm just getting blessed. I'm booked 4 or 5 times a week, 60 to 75K a show, man. I'm winning right now, man, and I'm just steady trying to increase my hustle.